Howdy everybody, ArgonMatrix here, welcome you to episode 51 of our Pokémon LeafGreen Nuzlocke. Now this first section of the video is going to be a little bit of post-commentary, just because, as you can see, I went ahead and evolved a ton of different Pokémon for my PC in order to reach the 60 Pokémon requirements that we need in order to get the National Pokédex from Professor Oak, as we saw at the end of the last video, episode 50. So, if I remember right, I needed to evolve 11 different Pokemon in order to get that goal. I was at 49, needed to hit 60. So in order to make it go as quickly as possible, I started out, as you can see, with evolving what Pokemon I could with Evolution Stones, namely Staryu and Pikachu at this point. And that was enough for me to reach the 50 Pokemon mark and get the experience share from an aid down in Fuchsia City, as you'll see in a little bit here. And after that, I could use the experience share easily in order to grind up a bunch of different Pokemon in Victory Road, prioritizing Pokemon that evolve at early-ish levels like Caterpie and Pidgey. Because if you don't know the experience share, when another Pokemon holds it, they'll get half of the experience that the Pokemon in battle get. So I could just use my regular team to fight the wild Pokemon in Victory Road and slowly but surely level up these weaklings into their more heightened state. So yeah, I guess without further ado, here are all the different Pokemon that I evolved. Enjoy watching all of them grow up into their stronger forms, and I'll be back right after this little montage in order to talk about what we're gonna do next, what we gotta do, what plans we have, so on and such with. Peace out. Okay, guys, I'm back. Hope you enjoyed that little montage of evolutions. If you watched it, indeed, I imagine, I don't know, it's just a lot of evolutions right in a row. It might not be the most exciting thing ever. But for those of you who didn't watch it, I'll show you really quick here who we got evolved. We have Lovi the Pidgeotto, or Lovey, however you want to say that. We got Rosebud the Butterfree now, Yankee Gal the Fearow, Mario the Gyarados, Jenna the Weepinbell, who else? We got Secret Fury the Nidoqueen now. This is one thing, is that Pokemon that evolve with stones, like Nidoqueen, often after you evolve them with the stone, they won't learn any more moves by level up. They might learn like 1 or 2. I think Nidoqueen learns like Body Slam at some point. But in general, I did look at what they learned via level up as their other forms. And in general, the ones that evolved with stones, I don't think that I'll need any other level up stuff. I can mostly use TMs and the moves that they already have in order to get them where they need to be. If that makes any sense, hopefully it does. Yeah, so there's Nidoqueen. We also have Mr. T, the Raichu, which is hilarious to me. We have over here, the first one we evolved was Dancer the Starmie. Nice, nice. And lastly, I believe, was Snooter the Golbat, who is the newest addition to this PC that is now full. This first box is full, which is kind of crazy. So those are the 11 new evolutions that we have. Yeah. Now, before we move on with anything else, I have something I need to discuss with you guys before we move on to the post-game or back to Professor Oak to get our National Pokédex or anything like that. These Pokemon that we have on our team here, these 6 that we've grown to know and love over the past 50 episodes for some of them, or a long time for all these guys. We've known them, and they've gotten us through thick and thin, through the Elite Four, through the Champion Battle, everything like that. I'm wondering if it's time for them to take a little siesta in the PC, like all the other Pokemon have been doing up to this point. Because they've been through a lot, they've made it, they've triumphed, as they've proven themselves, basically. And it might be time for some other new Pokemon to take the spotlight for the rest of the game here for the post-game. Now, I don't imagine the post-game is going to be all that long, so it's not going to be a huge concern. But I figured it would just be kind of nice, you know, to switch things up a bit. It's a whole paradigm shift, really. Because we got these 6 Pokemon who've seen us through most of the game, especially these top 3, Zamori, Grandoska, and Kirby here. They've seen some shit. And I think switching it up could be nice. It could be just a nice little refresher or a little breather. So yeah, that's what I'm proposing to you guys today, is that I have a couple of team options, 4 in all, that I would like you guys to kind of vote between. And if none of these team options that I'm about to describe to you are to your liking, then feel free to post a comment detailing a different team that you've composed yourself. Just keep in mind the rule that we can't have any repeat typings among any of our party Pokemon. So you can't put like Pidgeotto and Gyarados on the same team, for instance, because they're both flying type. But other than that, yeah, it's fair game. All the Pokemon in our PC are free to use. So there is going to be a poll in the description below. It should be like the first thing in there. There'll be a link to the poll to vote for Team 1, 2, 3, or 4 that I'm about to detail here. So I'd really appreciate if you go to that link and vote. Every vote is going to count. I'll link it on Twitter as well, probably. And feel free to comment saying what teams you like, what teams you don't like, or if there's a whole different team that you might propose for me to use. Yeah, so first things first, team number 1 is the one you're actually looking at right here, is our standard main game team. Is maybe the best thing is not to switch anything up and just see the whole game through with the team that we've built up so far. It would certainly be the easiest for me in terms of just time efficiency, but don't let that try and sway your vote, just because the other 3 teams I will obviously have to grind up to around level 55 like these guys are in order to have a fair representation in the post-game. But yeah, don't let that sway you. But it has been a long ride with these guys, and it would be kind of bittersweet to see them go into the PC. Thankfully, like, it's better to see them go into the PC than to see them die off. I would hate for that to happen. But yeah, maybe it's just these are the heroes that we need to see the game through with. The only real thing I would say that keeping this team over any of the other 3 would benefit, other than like that storyline purposes, is that with the National Pokedex, once we get a certain item in the Sevi Islands, Kevin CV here will finally be able to evolve. Oh gosh, sorry about that voice crack. He'll finally be able to evolve once we find the upgrade in the Sevi Islands, and that will be just very cathartic, I guess, very satisfying to see after all this time to have him evolve. But you know what, we can always evolve him in the PC as well, so it's not entirely exclusive. He'll just probably never get used if he's in the PC like that. So that is our first option. That is Team 1, is the base team here. I'm going to go ahead and switch out my party for the second team, and I'll see you in a second. Alright guys, I got my second team all switched out here. Lo and behold, we have Articuno, Quaddle the Articuno, Cow's Crazy the Slowpoke, Secret Fury the Nidoqueen, Giggles the Snorlax, Kirito the Tangela, and Mr. T the Raichu. I think it's a fairly nice, diversified team. As far as I can tell, there aren't any type clashings. They're all different types, and this will sort of tell you kind of how I built up these next 3 teams. Is that I focused them each around one of the 3 legendary birds that we've caught. So on the next 2 teams, on one of them you'll see Zapdos, on the other you'll see Moltres. Just because I think that'd be kind of cool to use one of those legendary birds. Of course, like, it does eliminate, because we actually have a ton of different flying types in the PC, which is something I realized when I was trying to construct these. We have like Pidgeotto, we have Gyarados, we have Fearow, Doduo, we got, I don't know, there were some other ones in there that I can't remember off the top of my head right now. But yeah, so using one of the legendary birds would exclude a lot of those options, which is why I say if you want a different team with one of those flying types on it, then feel free to post a comment saying so. But yeah, I think this would be a nice diverse team. You never really see a Tangela on a playthrough. It would be kind of the new Porygon on our team. And otherwise, I think these are some pretty nice guys. Very thick team, very defensive, except for the Raichu down here, who's kind of fast and hits hard. So yeah, that is our second team option. Let's load up the third. Alright, third up to bat, here's our team. We got Zeus the Zapdos, Glacier the Lapras, Mio Hello the Magmar, Sesh the Hitmonlee, Glass the Ghastly, and Liliuna the Meowth. I think this is probably, of the teams that I constructed, one of the most powerful and one of the most like interesting, because like Zeus is not that common. I suppose Lapras is fairly common on teams. Magmar I don't think is you see that much of him just because he's so rare. And Hitmonlee is something that people were vying for when we lost to Kaimi earlier on in the playthrough. Gengar is always a nice favorite, and Liliuna would just be an interesting one, I think. I've never really used the Persian or a Meowth, so I think that could be definitely some fun. Another sort of underused member that I like to see. That's kind of one thing I did on all these teams as well, is I picked one Pokemon that you don't really see all that often and kind of threw it on there just to see how it would do, like Tangela in the last team and Meowth in this one, and I guess we'll see who in the fourth and final team here. Let's show that off. Alright, and our fourth and final option here is going to be Vesuvius the Moltres, Jenna the Weepinbell, Sinus the Ammonite, Tyler the Voltorb, Giggles the Snorlax, and Sesh the Hitmonlee. Got a couple repeat offenders in this team, just because the typings didn't really work out for too many other things. But yeah, so this is another solid option. I've never really used an Ammonite either, and you know, praise Lord Helix and all that shit. Moltres would be interesting. It's kind of just a straight swap for Charizard, so it might not be the most dynamic choice, I guess, in terms of being different from the team we already been using. But yeah, and then some of these other guys could really shine. I know Electrode is probably the fastest Pokemon that we have access to, really. But also very frail, as you can see, 40 HP. That's, well, I guess it's hard to compare because all these are so variant levels. Yeah, so hopefully that gives you guys some food for thought. These teams will be up for vote in the poll linked in the description below, as I said earlier. Also feel free to comment and say anything, speak your mind. It's an open discussion kind of video today, so comments are definitely appreciated. Yeah. That's going to be it for now, though. I will end this off just by opening up my PC boxes for you here and showing off what we have to work with. So we got all 30 of these Pokemon here that we have to choose from. Just remember the rules if you're going to build up a custom team of your own in one of the comments. that the types cannot clash with each other. We cannot have multiple of the same type on the same team. But other than that, yeah, go nuts. And here's the other 6 Pokemon that we have in our party as well to work with. In our current party anyway, not in our decided party yet. That's what we're here to figure out. Anyways, I'm rambling at this point, so hopefully that all makes sense. Thank you everyone for watching. I'm gonna head on out of here and see you in episode 52, whenever that may be, because if you pick certain Pokemon, I might have to spend a while grinding here, but that is fine by me. At any rate, this is ArgonMatrix, signing out. Thank you and good night.